Hello everyone. I am just letting in Shweta to join. Hi Shweta, thanks for joining us.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me here today.
I am doing great. How's the weather in Mumbai today?
Ah, without an AC, I don't think anybody can survive here. It's extremely
Yeah,
hot.
it seems that the heat wave is killing everyone right now.
Absolutely. I'm actually not able to see you. Hold on.
Yeah. Am I
Just
visible now?
no.
Is it solved?
No, actually, I am only able to see myself and not you.
Okay,
Do you
because
want me to join in again?
yeah, sure, you can join in again.
I'll do that.
Thanks for everyone who is joining. Just in case if you have any question, by the time Shweta is joining, you can comment on the box below and we can ask Shweta the question that you are thinking about. Just give me a second. Shweta is joining again. Anything regarding your health or nutrition if you want to ask, we have Shweta with us now. Yeah, Shweta, is it better now?
No, I still can't see you, but I think let's get started. I'm sure it'll get fixed. It might be a lag.
Okay, cool. So I hope all our audience is able to see both of us, and I can see you well and good.
Okay, superb. Then let's get started.
Cool. So I'm just giving a quite quick introduction about you so that everyone in the audience understand whom they are listening to today. Okay, so Shrita is comes from a background of biochemistry, microbiology, and she's a nutritionist. And we know her as the gut guru. She talks and help people to resolve gut issues and has been working with clients across the world tackling weight worries and lifestyle management. Am I right, Shweta?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. So, Shweta, before we did this live, we have done two other lives, and
Yeah.
what we usually do before live is collect a bunch of questions and then ask those questions in live. And just during the live, if anybody else wants to comment below and ask another question, I'll ask you that also. So this is more like a
Sure,
Q&A live that we do.
sure. Perfect.
Okay, so I am coming up with my first question, which is that can you explain what gut health is and why is it important for an overall well-being?
Sure. Okay. So I'll start first with what is gut. Okay. And since this is a trending topic now, I think it's important for us to understand what the gut is. So you have your gastrointestinal tract, which starts from your throat and ends till the rectum. Okay. Your gut is basically your small intestine and large intestine. Once we chew all our food and it goes into our stomach, and stomach does its work, then it passes it on to the small intestine for further digestion and absorption. Then it goes to the large intestine, and that is where we need to really pay attention because that's where our friends, if we keep them happy, are living happily and they live with us in a symbiotic relationship, which is our gut microbiome. Okay. So the large intestine is where the gut microbiome comes in. It digests the food that our intestine, the small intestine part, can't do. So that is a small understanding of what gut is. Why is it important? Because it takes care of everything. That if your digestive system is not good, it'll show up on your face as acne. It'll show up as skin irritation. It'll show up as lethargy, mood swings, and so much more. So it's very important that we take care of what we really put into our stomach so that our gut microbiome can be happy and give us the results that we need to. I hope that gives you a little bit of understanding.
Yes, that goes. And yes, as you have started that, it is a very trending topic right now. That we have so
Yeah,
many other nutritionists and we have so many other people talking about gut health and how important it is for every person now. And still, there is a very much less knowledge about how we can make it good.
yeah, and that also is because there's so many things that we're discovering on a day to day because this is new science that's happening here. So understanding our own gut microbiome is taking a lot of time, and now we're coming and we're getting to know that it's connected to our immune system. So like when we get a cold, we tend to blame it on weather change hua hai, isliye I'm not feeling well or I'm catching a cold or cough. But it's actually because there's inflammation in your gut, and that is, in turn sending signals, and the immune system then is not functioning well, and that's why we take a toll, and it shows up externally as a symptom. So we're understanding these small, small things now, and that's why it's taking more time to actually figure out what is the right information and what is not.
Mm. So it is a lot of experimentation which is happening around gut right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now at Ajanta, we are all
Mhm.
about edible oils, bakery fats.
Yeah.
So my next question is about cooking oils. So how different types of cooking oils are affecting our gut health? What is the impact?
Okay. Um, I think first for me to address here is that there is no need to fear oil because now there's a huge fear around the usage of oils. It is more about understanding, like the question you asked, what's good, what's not, how much do we consume, and how do we consume it. There's also a lot of trend around olive oil, and it's being used to cook, whereas it's not something that you heat. It's something you put on top of your salads or on top of your food. So each oil, if it's used in the right manner, we're then going to see the benefits of it. So to give you a basic understanding, like sesame oil, your mustard oil, coconut oil, your nuts, seeds, all of these are the good fats. And then comes the unhealthy aspect, whether soybean and palm oil. Again, I wouldn't want to categorize it into healthy and unhealthy. Even the healthy oils, when not used appropriately, can be unhealthy. So it's important to understand that these oils that, that I mentioned before, the sesame, the coconut, the mustard, they're to be used, one, in the right quantity. Second, they're not supposed to be heated up too much, so you're supposed to use it at a lower temperature. And the third most important factor is that don't use things like mustard oil in the summer. And like you're from the north, right, Himani? So it's this is something when it's a cooler climate, we use different types of oils. When it's a hotter climate, we use different types of oils. So I think that is important to learn and understand because then you use it appropriately. That's the first
Mm,
thing. The second thing is the amount of oil we use, right?
mm,
Because we want to cook faster, we use more oil, and that becomes counterproductive to our body. The ideal amount to use per dish is 1 teaspoon, which comes to about 5 grams. And for women, it's about 5 to 6 teaspoons throughout the day, and for men, it's about 6 to 7 teaspoons of
mm.
oil consumption throughout the day. That's recommended. Beyond that, it just starts slowly disrupting the functions in our gut.
Okay.
So
So
understanding
we have
these
to be
few
very
basic things.
cautious about the amount that we are using.
Yeah, amount, the time we're using, what oil we're using for cooking, what kind of ingredient. That if you see in the southern region, we use a lot of coconut oil.
Mm,
But again, it has to be specific to the dishes that we're cooking, like in a tadka and a sambar can be a coconut oil base ka tadka.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
that will sit well for the digestive system, that will sit well for your own gut microbiome, because there is research that now that's coming about that depending on which part of the country you're from also and your lineage also tells you how your gut microbiome is and what kind of cultural foods it can incorporate and it can digest and absorb better.
Mm.
So just because some kind of oil is trending or any concept is trending, we need to be a little mindful of what trend we're jumping onto. So that is
Yes.
something that we have to be mindful of. We don't need to fear foods. We're supposed to love foods. We as Indians eat with culture and with joy. So just understand the basic principles behind it, then everything will also treat you better.
Okay, that's great. So we have a question from the audience, and
Sure.
they are asking you, is gluten whole wheat bad? Is
Okay.
gluten whole wheat bad?
Okay. I'll answer if gluten is bad or not. Gluten is not bad till the time it's affecting your system. If you feel that you're getting acidity, you're getting constipation, you're getting skin irritation, then you know that some food is triggering you, and that is when you should kind of put a stop to it for a while, heal your digestive system, and then you can slowly reintroduce. So again, this whole concept of gluten chhod do, dairy chhod do is very individual specific. We all don't need to do it. It's important again to understand why you're leaving particular foods. If they're triggering you, yes, it's important because then it's counterproductive to your health. And if something is triggering you, you'll start feeling more fatigued and more lethargic also. So that is important. Second thing is now because of a lot of changes in the food industry, a lot of things are genetically modified, and gluten is one of them. So your wheat, your rotis, your breads, all of them are infused with excessive amounts of other additives as well as gluten, because of which it actually triggers our gut. So again, going back to what I said is understand if it's affecting you, then please leave it because it's not doing any good for you. But if it's not, then don't leave it just because sab chhod rahe. That's
Don't go
important. That
for the trend.
don't go for the trend.
Yeah, I understand that.
I hope
Okay,
that
my
I
next,
answered their question.
yes, I hope that. I hope that is very clear in your first and on your second also, that going only for trends, going only for a type of oil, or going only for a type of diet because it is trending, it is not
Yeah.
correct. Yeah. So on the similar line, what is a common myth that you hear the most about gut health and you feel that it should be debunked right now?
Um, everyone doesn't need probiotics. Now, when I say that, I'm talking about the supplement. So
Hmm.
it's important to understand that food needs to be corrected first, and we can get enough from our food if we balance it well. Enough of the prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic. I'll explain what those are. But if we balance our food well enough, then it's very easy to get these things. We don't need that external supplementation. When do we need a probiotic supplement? If our gut is not doing well, if we're on antibiotics, then it's important because antibiotics kill the good microbiome. So it's important to supplement it. So that would be one of the biggest myths, because I see a lot of people jumping again a trend, right? हर चीज में probiotic है.
Yeah.
But as simple as adding a curd to your meal is going to give you the probiotic source that you're looking for.
Hmm. So, Shweta, while you are talking, the thought that
Mhm.
is coming in my mind is that every communication you are trying to tell us that, is it right to go back to the roots? What they were doing was completely right, and the
Hmm.
way we have tried to follow the trends and tried to
Hmm.
follow the other cultures is what is messing with our diets these days.
I would stand a middle ground on that. I wouldn't say we completely go back to our roots because our ancestors did a lot of physical labor. We lead a very sedentary lifestyle. So we need to have a little bit of balance over there. We can't completely do what they were doing, but the basic principles that they were accommodating, not eating out too often, eating on time, having your dinner at an early time, these things we can incorporate. But the exact pattern of eating we can't, because our lifestyle is completely different and we barely, most of us have sedentary jobs. So it's
Hmm.
important to then also accommodate the right amount of calories that we're getting from our food.
Okay. Coming from the sedentary lifestyle that we are all living these days,
Mhm.
what are what are some of the most common kind of gut issues that you have encountered while you have been practicing during these years?
Acidity and constipation, these are two very common things that's happening to most Indians. Then comes the most more chronic ones, which would be irritable bowel syndrome. Then you have your inflammatory bowel diseases like ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. And then you have GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux, which means that जो acid है stomach में, that keeps coming up towards the upper side, whereas it has to stay where it is, digest the food, and then allow the food to process further. So these are a couple of common things, and stress is one of the major factors for a lot of gut issues.
Hmm.
And that is because our gut and our brain are connected. We have a nerve called the vagus nerve that goes from our gut to our brain, and they basically speak to each other. So if they're speaking to each other and you're in a sad mood, you're not going to make good choices for the food that you want to put on your plate, and vice versa. So stress impacts a lot of the choices we make, and it also creates a lot of acid imbalance that happens in our gut too.
No. Okay. We have another question in our comments, which I feel, I want to address. It is, should we eat sugar or should we just eliminate the sugar at totally?
Tough question. Uh, Technically, we don't need sugar. क्योंकि हर food में we are already getting, when our food breaks down, glucose is what we need and we get it. Sugar is primarily for taste and enjoyment. Um, Having said that, I feel we should have a balance. We should have joy in life also. So, utilizing the right time to eat your dessert is important. If you can avoid sugar in chai or coffee, it'll be great, because already the milk that we get is fattening and it's sweeter already. If not, then not more than 1 teaspoon. That's why there's a recommended dietary allowance, which is 25 grams throughout the day. But वो
Hmm.
दिया गया है because sugar was introduced to us. Ideally, we don't need sugar at all. So I hope
So
I
the
answered.
ideal situation is that we leave the sugar, but that is not the case usually.
It's not possible also, right? There are a lot of things we can do ideally, but that means a lot of self discipline and restriction that we have to do, which sometimes is not possible, and that again adds to more stress. So,
Okay.
usse acha learn about when you can eat your dessert. Like, to give you an example, dessert with your meal is better than eating it 2 hours after. So that jo glucose ki spike hoti hai, that comes in the same time,
Hmm.
instead of again your body processing everything and restarting the process.
Hmm. Okay,
So
great. I
more
have one more
about
question.
understanding the food than eliminating it completely is what I would want to conclude.
I have one more interesting question in the comment. Uh, they are asking which bread should we take? Should we take an atta bread? Probably they're talking about the
Okay.
brown breads.
Okay. Um, सारे bread same है. Eat the white bread and enjoy it in moderation is what I would say.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so there's
Uh,
no major difference if we are,
not
if we are just
not
choosing.
No, not the produce that we are getting. However, like a sourdough bread is slightly better because it's fermented and the amount of gluten in it naturally reduces. But again, you have to see what is affordable to you, and what as a family also you eat. Those are two
Mm.
common factors that we need to keep in mind when we are making purchases for our ingredients. So I
Okay.
would say enjoy the bread, don't do it daily, don't put a lot of butter on it, add a lot of vegetables to your food, or even if you're eating a bread or a sandwich, let it have more vegetables. That would kind of help you balance
That
it
would
out.
help the
Yeah,
diet. Okay. So I am down to my last question. What
sure.
is the one advice that you want to give as a nutritionist and as a gut guru to all our viewers currently?
Okay. Uh, I will come back to what I've been trying to say throughout. If you noticed, I kept using the word balance.
Yeah.
And that is the key to living happily and healthily. So we're taking care of our brain, we're taking care of our gut also if we eat in balance. And what do I mean by balanced eating? We're including the right amount of carbohydrates, which is your rice, roti, your millets, your pasta, noodles, bread, all that falls under that category. Then you have your fiber, which is your vegetables and your fruits. And you have your protein. If you're a non-vegetarian, then you have all your chicken, mutton, all eggs, everything would fall there. And if you're a vegetarian, then all your dals and pulses. And fats, the good fats, and oil in moderation. So if you do all of this in the right combination, you are going to be able to get all the nutrients that you require, and you don't need to completely leave anything to be able to reach your health goals. Having said that, it also depends on your body and if you have a medical condition or something that's chronic because of which you have to leave certain foods to heal better.
Okay.
So
So it
balance
is
would be
that
the first thing.
balance is the first thing that should come to your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
And
Nice talking to you, Shrita.
nice
We
talking to
still
you.
have some comments coming up.
Sure.
Is it okay? Are you, if I take one more question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I have a question where the viewer says that it is very confusing what to
Hmm.
eat daily. So you
Okay.
have been talking about balance. So how can a person who is not a nutritionist or is
Hmm.
planning the daily meal can have a very balanced diet every day?
Okay. So one is don't skip your breakfast, especially if you're a woman, because our hormones function in a way that we need a good breakfast. Men can do intermittent fasting, which is completely skip the breakfast and go directly to lunch and dinner. Now I'll talk about how you balance it. Your breakfast has to have a good amount of protein in it. So say you're having poha. Poha is primarily carbohydrates. How can you balance it? You can add a little bit of veggies into it, like grated carrots, and you can add sprouts. So there comes a balance. Okay. Then remember that you need to leave a good amount of gap between each meal. So between breakfast and lunch, you have at least 3 hours, and lunch and dinner at least 5 hours. And lunch needs to be the heaviest meal. Ideally, we think that we need to eat breakfast like a king, but it's about the quality of your food during breakfast and not the quantity. However, during lunch, that is the time the sun is at the highest and our digestive system also functions the best. So you can eat, say you want to eat puri and chole or chole bhature, that's the ideal time to eat it. However, don't do it every day. Um, and the balance here would be, like I mentioned, your carbohydrates, your rice, roti, your sabzi, your dal, pulses, your chicken, your eggs, your fish. That is how you combine and eat it. And eat as per your culture. So, to give you an example, I'm a South Indian. I am a primary rice eater. I don't enjoy roti. So, rice is part of both my meals, but for dinner, my rice quantity will be lower and I would improve the quantity on the vegetables and the protein intake. So same goes for anyone. Like if you're a North Indian, you're having a paratha, you're having rotis, then you watch the quantity that you're eating during both the times. It is not as confusing if you listen to your own body. That would be the last note that I would want to leave for. I think it was charming underscore desert rose that asked this question.
Yes.
If you listen to your body and not to trends, you will find all the answers. That's as simple as that.
That's a great conclusion that you have come to. Thanks, Shweta, for joining us
Thank
and
you
giving us
so
such an
much.
insightful session.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks a lot. Thanks to our
Bye bye.
viewers for coming and joining us. Bye bye. Thank you everyone who has joined us. Shweta has left the call. We'll be doing another session soon, and the content of the session will be posted on our post. Stay tuned. Thanks a lot.